All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's lesson. Today is going to be more of a demonstration of an intelligent agent in action. So we were tasked this week to create some intelligent agent and have some level of functionality. Now, if you don't know already, I'm actually creating a startup called Aery. And for Aery, it is an email application where it can read your emails, summarize them, categorize them, and prioritize them. And we're using a local large language model to accomplish this. Actually, specifically, what you're looking at right now is the code base for Aery. And for one of the files, it's called chat screen here. And we're actually using a model called Llama 3.2. It has 1 billion parameters, and it's a spin quant of the Llama 3.2 model. And so we're using this model to do all of our local LLM tasks on a edge device, so like my phone. And I can actually demo this really quickly. So let's quickly do a demo, and I'll explain what's happening in the background. So currently this is going to bundle on my phone. And as this bundles, I'm going to share a recording of the app loading, essentially. So here you see this is the normal Aery screen, and over here on the right we have the Llama 3.2 interface. So this is actually a chat interface that we created, and the idea behind this is that it is an agent because it takes in your summary email data and performs a summary on this. Now, I can quickly showcase that this is an LLM, so it will work on device. So if I say, hello, this is a warm-up prompt. So let's say there we go. So if I say this, the model first instantiates and actually there we go. Now it's all set up. So this is kind of the warm-up prompt, and I can actually click on this button up here on the top right called Summarize Emails. And when this happens, it actually grabs my latest email and summarizes it. And so you can see the speed there. We measured the speed at around this inference speed around 28 tokens per second, which is a huge improvement on inference speeds. And you can see that right now it's just grabbing the latest email from my inbox. This is actually verifiable. So if I go to my inbox here, that email specifically has been read. So this is actually an unread inbox. This email that you see, the Revival and Carson, I've actually read this email. This is me trying to find an apartment in Pittsburgh. But this is a real email coming from my Gmail. And so this AI is using some really, really cool tech. It's actually using a special backend for this this model called XNNPack, and essentially grabs the subgraphs that are needed to have inference, and it basically like parallelizes them in the CPU. So this is actually running off CPU inference. So it's kind of incredible that this level of inference speed is possible and performance is possible on CPU. And so I decided to create a level of an agent with this technology. So we can actually take a look on how this is working in the backend. So we can look here in the code and take a look at how this agent is able to grab the latest emails and summarize it for me in a one-sentence format. So first, we have our import statements. We're actually using this library called React Native Executorch. Fun fact, I actually did a pull request into the Executorch repo, which is maintained by Meta, which actually allowed for this to work. But React Native Executorch is maintained and developed by Software Mansion, and I actually work with those guys to use this library, which allows us to load a model and a tokenizer and instantiate it in this use LLM hook. Here we have some of our states, And we also have user authentication in this app. So this actually authenticated with my user account using Gmail. And so we have a few effects here. Now, typically when you do AI agents, you're typically used to seeing Python code. But this is all in TypeScript because this is a React Native application. So and this library is also for React Native. So all of this code is using TypeScript, which is actually not that hard to follow through. So we can see that we have a few use effects, and these are basically watching for whenever something is being generated. And here we have, if we have a response, is essentially this is a safety check. Checking to see how long the llama response will be for a given message and pass on the response and if it's generating. So this hook that we're using for llama has a few properties. For example, llama.response returns a string, which essentially is a state of the response, which is updated for every token that it generates. And is generating is essentially a Boolean value that checks if llama is still generating a response. Here we have the message history that we saw earlier, where you can see the previous messages, and this send message function, which is asynchronous, and essentially allows us to generate a response. So given a user input, we do llama.generate, and essentially this gives us our response. Llama.generate just generates the response in llama.response. Here we have the summarize emails function, which is the little button. So this is actually like the backend code for how that button functions. It essentially, we have this file called email service, and in there we have a get mailboxes class, which essentially grabs our inbox, our latest inbox, for whatever account that we've authenticated with. Here we have some options. So for Gmail and Outlook, it grabs the respective inbox. And in here, we are limited to only grabbing the first email. That's just by design. We have not been able to implement the other emails in the same summary. So right now, it's just grabbing the first latest email and able to process it. So we have a couple of variables to dictate, what data that we need to generate a summary. Here is our prompt that we use to summarize the email. We have some global garbage collection just so it doesn't bog down the app, and we can generate via the prompt from the summarize emails function. So you might have noticed there are two generates for llama, and one is for if you just send through your messages, and one is for the summarize emails function. So that's why there's two of them. And here we have some error handling. And here is actually our main React Native component code. So essentially what it does is if llama is ready, it will show our current UI of our chat interface. And we have our summarize emails button here. And essentially this is just the entirety of the UI, like the your message box and all that, and we have some style sheets here. So there you go. That's kind of a high-level overview of how a AI agent is being used for my startup, Aery. If you have any questions about how this works, why we're doing this, anything like that, please let us know. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.